Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hey, I'm Cooper Burke here with PFL welterweight champion Sadibou Sy. Sadibou, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. Sunday morning is my day off here. I'm just enjoying life. Had an amazing week. Happy to be speaking to you. How you doing?
Likewise, I'm doing great. It's good to see you again. Last time out, I know we saw each other in Atlanta. It was kind of a whirlwind week for you.
Yeah.
Tell me how you're feeling now going into this camp. I know PFL camps are traditionally a lot shorter than the regular mixed martial arts fight. It's 2 months. So how are you feeling going into this?
No, I feel great. Before the season starts, like what to expect and then like how intense the season is gonna be. I've been enjoying this camp. It was fun. A lot of buzz after the last fight, so I just had to let that sink in and then get back to work. And it's been great. I've had an amazing camp. A little bit left, so I'm looking forward to finishing off this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you been preparing specifically for your next opponent? I mean, I know you guys have fought before, but has anything changed going forward for you?
To be honest, of course, I would say yes, because each fight, even though I've fought him before, I expect him to try new things, different things, and for me, I always try to improve. I always try to work on new things and evolve as a fighter. So I wasn't happy with even though last season I got the victory on each fight, but I want to be able to finish each fighter, right? So I believe I'm at that level. So for me, we worked on a lot of different things now in terms of the last season, where I was working a lot on like covering holes that I had in my game. Now I'm working a lot on evolving. So it's a different mindset. Everything is different. But with all that being said, he's a dangerous opponent, and we don't take him lightly.
Of course not. I know you said you're focusing on more progressing rather than just covering deficiencies in your game. Obviously, you're the champion.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of deficiencies, but you're going to see something looking at your own film that I might not see or your opponents might not see. So, Is that a freeing feeling for you? Working on progressing and being comfortable in all facets of your game, so you can fine tune it instead of working to catch up.
For sure. I believe when I came into mixed martial arts, I I didn't have an amateur career because I was a four-time world champion in kickboxing, Muay Thai. I just jumped right in, right? So I remember for the like second fight, I didn't even know how to defend a triangle choke because I only been doing MMA for like 8 or 9 months. So I always had to. My striking was so far ahead of my grappling and wrestling, and then when I got those things together. Um, when I got those things down, I didn't know how to put it all together properly. So it took a little bit of time. So that's why I had to take a step back, and that's what we saw last year. Me taking a step back and be like, okay, I know I can strike, I know I can wrestle, I can grapple, but I had to be able to put it all together. So I did that last year, and I focused on that. And now I was like, all right, so now we're focused on growing, focus on becoming a complete fighter. And like I said, after my last fight, if I want to take anyone down, I'm gonna do that. I want to be able to control where the fight ends up. And I want to control the distance, the tempo. I want to be able to control everything. You're in there with me. I'm not in there with you. That's my mindset, basically.
Yeah, that's a great mindset to have. I mean, obviously, like you said, you were a Muay Thai / kickboxing champion. Do you think that your kickboxing style contributes to that control, where you can control the range, or are you more comfortable controlling it on the ground?
For sure. On the ring, the distance on the feet that's that's where I separate myself from anyone else, I believe. Um, and my game is based out of me controlling the distance and making you frustrated and thinking that fuck, I can't hit you, I can reach you. So now I have to overthrow, overreach, and that's where I'm gonna eat. When you like you think that you almost gonna if I just a little bit longer, and that's where I wanna hit you, basically. So that's where my game is. But it was hard for me to do that when I didn't have uh, like I wasn't comfortable on the ground. I wasn't comfortable with the wrestling, so I couldn't throw my striking as freely as I wanted to, if that makes sense.
Well, that makes total sense. I mean, this is mixed martial arts. You've got to be comfortable in all facets of the game.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so I know you talked a little bit earlier about that quick turnaround time. Does it affect you differently than when when you fought professionally in Sweden, where you had a little bit longer time in between fights, or are you just constantly in fighting shape going forward?
yeah. So to be honest, for me, I have a like I want to say that I enjoy it. At the same time, I don't mind having a little bit of time because basically, at least for me, when I'm in camp, I'm working on what I'm gonna be using towards my opponent. I'm working on the game plan, and I'm working on what's gonna get my hand raised, right? When I'm out of camp, I'm able to actually start working on like techniques, building new things to my game. Like I don't have that luxury during the fight camp, right? You're always gonna get new things you're gonna learn, like right, but that's not the main focus, so to speak, when you as it is when you're out of camp. So with that being said, I enjoy both parts, right? I enjoy being out of camp and like, oh, now I'm gonna work on my top game, or now I'm gonna work on my takedowns. Now I'm gonna work because that's not, you understand the difference, how I mean? So with the PFL format, you always in it's like back to back to back to back. So you in camp from the first fight to the finals, it's camp. So it's very intense and it's so grueling, and that's what I love about it because it is it is it's very hard mentally. Like you come out from a fight, you're tired, just dieted, and I'm a big welterweight. You just dieted, and might have some injuries that you have to nurture and whatever. And a couple of days after, you already know who you're gonna fight, and you have to start to come up with a game plan for that fight before the first fight didn't even sink in. So it can be overwhelming, and like I said, that's also what I like about it because it's so challenging.
It's a great perspective. I mean, I've heard lots of different things across the board, but if you can kind of take that mindset in, that will help a lot.
Of
Let's
course.
let's talk a little bit about your background. Obviously,
Yeah.
you grew up in Sweden, you represent Sweden on the international stage, but for a long time, uh, you had around what I read is 20 to 40% vision.
Yeah.
As a kid, growing up with vision problems as well, I know how that can
Yeah.
feel. Tell me how that changed the way you approached your mixed martial arts career as opposed to now.
To be honest, that's the thing that it didn't because so I played soccer until I was 13, 14 years old. And this probably my vision started to come like when I was in my early teens. So it affected me because I went from having full vision to now like starting to have like troubles with seeing the ball and whatever, right? So it affected me. I had a reference, a point of reference, right? When I started with mixed martial arts or kickboxing to begin with, I already had this issue. So for me, that's what I knew, right? I couldn't allow myself to use it as an excuse because when I started with kickboxing, that's exactly how I started. But at the same time, I said, one day I'm gonna get my vision back, and that's when my opponents should watch out. And yeah, so 2017, I went from 20 to 40% of vision, depending on the day, to now maybe 80%, 90% some days.
That's amazing. I mean, everybody's got their struggles, but I think it's especially hard in a sport where you kind of have to see things coming before they happen
Yeah,
and keep on lookout. So that's really awesome
yeah.
to hear.
Thank you.
So how did you feel landing that huge knockout win? I mean, obviously, I know you've talked it to death,
Yeah.
like you said, but I saw videos of you going into camp training that move. So does it give you a little bit of peace or satisfaction knowing that you were able to pull something off that you had trained so hard for in camp?
Man, to be honest, 100%. Like both these fights, this regular season, uh, things that we worked on, actually until a couple of hours before the fight, we were like game planning and we were working on those specific moves, and both things came to fruition. We were able to land that. It gives me great joy, great confidence, that like we're seeing the right things. We are approaching the fight in the right way. Obviously, not taking any damage, and being able to land those shots. Uh, and the opportunities that we've been seeing on film has been there. So it's been very fun. It's been very rewarding, to be honest, because uh, I believe when I say this, everyone trains hard, and everybody wants to win. But obviously, not everyone's gonna and not everyone is gonna like come out of that like healthy and whatever. So to be able to come back and say, man, we got the victory, we got the knockouts, we got the viral knockout that we said we wanted. Like we're here, we're ready to go for the next one. Like everything has been amazing. So I'm very satisfied with that, to be honest.
Of course, I mean, I would be satisfied too. Um,
Yeah.
so how has it felt representing Sweden on the highest stage? I know you have a Senegalese background, but you
Yeah.
represent Sweden because you grew up with your family in Sweden. Um,
Yep.
how has it felt, walking out in those shorts that say Sweden on them and being able to represent your home country on the highest stage in the world?
To be honest, it's when I get like questions like this, or when someone like maybe on social media or whatever, or it's like approaching me and like talking about how I might inspire or motivate or whatever. Um, it makes me very proud, and it actually motivates me, and makes me want to do more, want to push more. And like some days when you wake up, you don't feel like doing all the sessions or whatever. Uh, think about those things and actually uh, find a little bit of get a little bit of extra power and energy from that. Like it's been amazing. Just like now, that's nothing that I just think about until now. I'm like, man, it is amazing. It is amazing. Like I'm right now based in Vegas. I'm so thankful. I have an amazing life. I'm so happy where I am in life and in the sport. So and I'm first of all so happy and thankful, to be honest. It's amazing.
That is amazing. I mean, everybody dreams about it, but to do it and to
Yeah,
do it so well is a fantastic thing. Uh,
yeah, I agree.
so how did it feel getting your hand raised as the champion in 2022? Obviously, the $1 million is great and all, but you
Yeah,
walked away with a belt on your waist and
yeah,
you had ascended to the top of the sport. How did that
yeah.
feel to finally achieve your goal?
To be honest, I believe because I signed with PFL 2018. So I fought 2018, 2018, 2019. 2020 was no season because of the pandemic, and then 2021. So I had fought 3 seasons prior, right? Uh, Getting to the semifinals, and then to the quarterfinals one time. Uh, so for me to be able to finally like like I said, look at what I needed to do, because I always felt like I had what it takes, right? What it takes. So being able to finally go the whole reach the goal and get the belt after not being able to do it for those years was more rewarding, I believe, than if I would have won it like back in 2018. I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much because I really had to. I'm not gonna say reinvent myself, but I had to. Me and the team, we really had to look at ourselves and say, okay, we need to fix this, and when we do, that's when we're gonna evolve, and that's where you're gonna see what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, so you say you feel like you I don't want to say it was a struggle, but it's is it more satisfying to you like because it was that process?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Uh, because when I started with kickboxing and Muay Thai, like I I believe I won my maybe 25th first fight, something like that. Like it came when I say easy, you have to understand what I mean, but it came easy. I didn't have, I never had to go to plan B or plan C. Plan A always worked, right? Now plan A didn't work. I had to go to plan B. Plan B didn't work. Man, okay, guys, we need to sit down and figure out what we're gonna do so we make sure that plan A is working again, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You got to reinvent the wheel, and when it works, it works. I
Yes,
know when we were
exactly.
in Atlanta, you talked a little bit about not only visualization, but you said that you have a coach where you're based, mental coach. Um,
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit um, about that process and how that's helped you become not only a better fighter, but a better person as a whole.
Yeah, because in general, I believe that in sports and especially in fighting, there's so many things that you can draw like parallels from like your everyday life to your profession, right? So to be able uh to become secure and like have someone like a mentor that guides me and he's there for me good bad ugly it's been very nice so now obviously we've been working for a couple of years and it's been going very well and I believe that I'm getting more and more comfortable about speaking about these certain things and because before it was a little bit of a stigma like that's not right to use a mental coach or a mentor whatever right now I don't I'm more so I don't care uh, I I I do what I think is best for me and mine and if if that if that rubs you the wrong way I'm sorry about that but it's been very rewarding and very helpful to be honest.
Of course, I mean, you're starting to see that trend of athletes going to mental coaches. It's happened in the past 20 years or so, and a lot of
Yeah,
the top tier athletes, including yourself, have mental coaches. But
yeah.
in my experience, in my research, you might be one of the only people that not only speaks about it, but would you say that it's changed your game um, for in a positive direction now that you've been working with him
100%.
for 3 years?
100%, I would say that because for example, a lot of fighters have a lot of like we think about like for instance if I fight in a certain in a with this mouthpiece or with this glove or with this and I have a good performance. I want to redo everything. I want everything to be the same because I want to have the same performance, right?
Right.
So but there's a lot of things that goes on before you put in your mouthpiece, before you put in your right. So if you start controlling those things and start controlling your thoughts and your surroundings, then the mouthpiece is probably not even gonna matter if that makes sense because you're actually controlling the real thing, the things that actually matters. So when I understood that and understood that oh, it wasn't about the mouthpiece the mouthpiece was just something that I remembered. It was actually that I had the right frame of mind. I did the practices. So physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything, all those four things were actually going and pulling in the right direction, right? My life was in balance. Like there's so because sometimes you don't understand things until someone maybe point it out to you. So I believe 100% that it's been so helpful for me.
Absolutely. I mean, control the things you can control and focus
Yeah,
on those things, and the rest kind of falls in place as we've seen.
yeah,
You've got a
yeah,
title, you've had two great fights, you're
yeah,
heading into the playoffs. Um,
yeah.
After this season, have you thought at all about what's next for you? I mean, there's obviously different places to go. I'm not saying, go to a different promotion or anything. I don't want to encourage you to talk bad on your bosses or anything like that. But
No,
have
no.
you thought about the super fight division or anything in that nature? Or like what do you where do you want to go from here?
I've thought about everything. So I've said it. My last now in November in the same arena that I'm fighting in 2.5 weeks was my fifth world title. I've I've said it. I want double digits, so I need five more at least. So this year, in end of the year, I would have my sixth. And then I love PFL. I believe PFL loves me. I have no intention of moving on. But I'm very intrigued about the super fight division. But also, like, I just want to add on. So after this, we're going for the third belt after this, and the super fight division. Like, for me, I'm not gonna put a ceiling on what I can do or cannot do. Like I'm gonna push and push and push and see where we're gonna end up.
I love it. Like you said, you in 2 weeks you're gonna head to Madison Square Garden in New York City.
So,
Um,
listen,
is does that place have a special meaning to you now that you won a world championship in that building? Number one, number two, it's the mecca of combat sports. How does that feel to you?
that feels amazing. To be honest, uh, first of all, I love New York. New York is one of my favorite cities. Just in general, I'm gonna have support from my friends and family flying both from here from the States, but also from Sweden. Much shorter flight than here to Vegas, right? So that would be nice as well. And just like you said, like the last time out, I became the world champion over there. So I'm looking forward to going in there and having an amazing performance. And I like my training has been so good. So I feel like I'm gonna put on a clinic.
I think so too, man. I've watched your tape, and um, how do you think your kind of kickboxing style is going to hold up against Carlos Leal, who's more of a Muay Thai fighter? It's He's going to work on the clinch, and how do you think you're going to attack that?
To be honest, I believe that he has to first and foremost he has to deal with me being taller, I believe stronger, and the faster fighter. Definitely more technical and creative. So he needs to try to make it to a dogfight. But doing so, he's gonna put himself in risk. And that's, I believe, something that he's willing to do because that's his only way of winning the fight, actually. So that's why this fight is gonna be um, I don't know if it's gonna be a long fight or a short fight, but it will all depend on how tough he actually is because he's gonna be there to be hit, and I believe that um, yeah, with how I've progressed, this is gonna be a tough one for him.
Of course, I mean, I wasn't even going to mention the mental game. It seems like you've got that locked up.
Yeah,
Um,
I feel amazing.
are you excited for this next fight?
Of course, listen, for me, the next fight is always the most important fight. So when I speak about next year, the super fights. And nothing of that matters if I don't take care of business for the next fight. So all my attention is on that one, everything. So I don't take anything lightly, and I'm always excited. So because so thankful. The opportunity is right now. The opportunity is right in front of me right now. So I'm not gonna make that go to waste.
Of course. One last question. I know you're in
But
you said New York is your favorite city. Do you
yeah,
have any plans of things to do in New York? Anything you've always wanted to do?
to be honest, for me, I'm more and more. I'm becoming more and more of like a simpler guy. So I'm just gonna have my friends and family. We're gonna stay there for a couple of days after the fight, and we're just gonna enjoy some good meals, good dinners, and that would be it.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
Best of luck, and we'll see you in New York City. Let me
appreciate
stop
you.
this.